Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time, really. My name is Dan with a H, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Tavi. Hi, Tavi.
This is obviously the first time we've met again today. I'm going to keep running with that joke.
Yeah. We're making a habit of meeting for the first time these days.
Yeah, I know, yeah. The first time, yeah. Are we kicking off that? What have you been watching?
Do we have a better title for that yet?
No, I can't think of one at the moment.
Still the name of the segment?
Yeah. It's just like, yeah. I mean, it's just like, doesn't necessarily need to be movie-based, because it hasn't been long since our previous recording of whatever we decide to upload in the schedule.
Yeah.
But not something that I've watched, but I was talking to Risky about this not too long ago. He said he watched the first Slam Dunk. Do you know anything about this?
No. Are you talking about the anime / manga Slam Dunk?
Yeah, there's a new Slam Dunk movie out. It's called The First Slam Dunk.
Oh, okay.
And it's directed by the original writer and the mangaka. Apparently, It's really good.
Yeah.
I literally just learned about this.
Have you watched any Slam Dunk?
Yeah, I used to watch Slam Dunk ages ago, man.
Yeah.
Okay. You gave Slam Dunk to me.
Yeah, I remember I had some. I just wasn't sure if I shared it with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those shonen sports anime that just goes on forever, right? So I haven't watched all of it. But yeah, I remember it being very enjoyable, Slam Dunk.
Yeah, Slam Dunk's a classic, man. It's like true 90s,
Yeah.
I was listening to the opening theme song, and it's like, this brings back a lot of memories.
Do you think animation studios and mangakas are banking on nostalgia these days then? You know how like everything is nostalgia in Hollywood.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, do you think it's like the manga's turn to do some nostalgia baiting? Because we had Bleach fairly recently. I guess Evangelion always pops up here and there.
I think these are re-emerging is because the stories weren't complete. With Bleach, like, no one was really happy with how the original ended. Slam Dunk, I remember watching, is 101 episodes, and I remember it's like the ending is quite abrupt as well. And yeah, Evangelion is just like, that's a fucking whole video in itself about how everyone was pissed off at the end of Evangelion, and or everyone was pissed off at the original and blah blah blah, and then now it's finally finished on good terms. So I think it's like banking on this kind of good nostalgia.
And trying to right the wrongs of the past, I guess. Yeah. Which I guess is the good thing about animation is you can do that, because there's like some other examples in live action of like something like Firefly, I guess, Joss Whedon's show. I know Joss Whedon is out of favor now, but like fans really wanted a good conclusion to that show, but you can't really do it because the reality is the actors age out of these roles. And it's just not the same. But with animation, you can do it. So that's good.
I mean, there's another movie that's trying to bank on nostalgia from a studio that's been doing it for a while. Like we were just talking about the Peter Pan and Wendy trailer that just dropped.
I haven't seen it yet at time of recording, but you were telling me it doesn't.
Yeah, it just it looks like one of the movies of the year. Just like it's just there. It looks very plain. Like me talking about it and wasting my breath on it is like more credibility than the movie should have.
Sure.
I mean, the best thing about that movie is the comment sections in the trailer. It's just like, it's really funny.
It's a lot of trolls. You were telling me just people like misquoting the
misquoting movies. I love the part when Peter Pan says, "You shall not pass." It's like, I love the part when. What's that quote that Harvey Dent says? Like, you either live to be a hero or
live long enough to be the villain. No, you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah, so it's like when Peter Pan says that, or when Wendy says that to Peter Pan, it's like true cinematic genius. I think this reaction has happened in a lot of these like new Disney remake trailers. It's kind of funny. I think, I don't know, like, Disney's Disney. Like, they're not going to stop.
Yeah, because they keep making money. And that's kind of Disney's MO, is just to churn out rubbish, really, and, like, it makes money. It's been their MO for a while, I should say. Like, I mean, Disney's done some pretty good stuff. I have fond memories of watching Disney films as a kid.
Yeah, this is a Disney renaissance, though. Now it's just like Disney's... I don't see Disney as a children's film studio. They're just a giant conglomerate now that's sucking up a parasitic organism.
They've forgotten their roots, Tavi. They've forgotten their roots. But yeah, they make a lot of money, so... I mean, what's important, really?
Yeah.
Good storytelling or, more theme parks.
Yeah, it's true. That's where they make all their money, out of theme parks, man.
Yeah. I do like going to Disneyland. I wish I could go there more often, if I'm going to be honest. I enjoy Disneyland. The Disneyland experience. I know you're not big into it, but
yeah, I mean, I'd only go if there were girls.
I think with the right crowd.
I was going with.
It's a good day out.
You're not going to have fun with a bunch of guys. Like, it's especially at our age. Yeah. We're just going to be very cynical about everything.
I did go pretty often when I was in Japan, but like I lived really close to that area.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine like making it like an outing, like some families travel like, do an overnight trip just to go to Disneyland.
No, I went a few times as well. I mean, cynicism aside, it is a fun day out with the right crowd. But like, I can't imagine like me in my age now.
Now you just need one person in your group that's really into it, and then that gets the whole group into it, I reckon.
Yeah, that's very true.
And also, you need to be around people that you can stand in line with for hours and not run out of things to talk about, I guess. So kind of a tough dynamic to find. But anyway, I watched a movie, Tavi, a movie that I've been meaning to watch for a while. I watched The Outfit.
That just came out on Netflix.
It's I mean, it's been on my radar because it seems like a movie that I would enjoy, being a closed off thriller. And I really enjoyed it. It's a good watch, very entertaining. It's exactly, it delivers exactly what you think it's going to deliver. Mark Rylance is fast becoming one of my favorite actors, I think. He's a bit of a chameleon, kind of reminds me of like Gary Oldman. A good balance between craft and entertainment. Like the characters that he plays are quite memorable, just like Sully from Burns and All, the guy he plays in the guy he plays in
imagine if it was the Sully from Burns and All in Monsters Inc. It's just like
I mean, they're both monsters, right, in their own right.
That's true. So sorry, go on. I just had to put that piece in there.
The guy he plays in Don't Look Up is pretty fun. And this in The Outfit, he plays this kind of British cutter, as he calls himself. He's not a tailor, Tavi. He's a cutter. There's a difference. It's got the guy from Maze Runner. I don't really know his name, but...
that's a movie I definitely watched.
It's just a fun ride overall. It's not anything groundbreaking, I don't think. It's not like a heavy hitter, but extremely easy to watch. The ending is a little bit far-fetched. Like, it kind of becomes a bit... Like, for the whole movie, Mark Rylance's character kind of toes this line of, like, realistic, but also quite quick-witted, But then towards the end of the film, he starts to stray into, like, superhero territory, I guess.
Does it become like John Wick?
Yeah, John Wick-esque. So I could have been a bit shorter of a film. Like I probably would have ended it maybe 10 minutes earlier. But that said, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to watch it. Like, it looks like a fun watch, and I've only heard positive things about this movie. And I think it's like probably one of the underrated movies of last year. Maybe because you said it's not like a movie that's trying to be anything else. It's not trying to be groundbreaking. It's not trying to save lives or anything like that. It's just a movie that exists for like
entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah. I think like whenever I hear a movie's marketing and it says like we're saving lives or like we're representing things, that's usually like a big red flag for me. Like, this movie is like, it's going to be a bit shit, but yeah.
Sometimes a movie can just be a movie,
Yeah.
Let them
I think movies that are like just movies end up connecting with people more, and then they become cult hits, and inadvertently they save lives in that manner. But
true.
When you're trying to be like, whatever, like, it's just a bit much. So it's like, it's a big turn off for me.
But speaking of movies,
turn off for a lot of people.
Yeah. Speaking of movies that
are trying to save lives.
Speaking of movies that are just movies, the movie that we're going to talk about today is Re/Member.
Yes.
A Japanese horror film currently streaming on Netflix at the time.
Yeah, do you want to give the lowdown on this one, the synopsis?
Yes. So, a group of high school kids, they find themselves stuck in a time loop where they keep reliving the same day over and over again. And at night, they get transported to their school for mysterious reasons. And they are tasked with finding all of the severed body parts of a murder victim. So they keep reliving this day over and over again until they're able to successfully recover all of the body parts. Very interesting premise.
But they're chased by like some crazy red person.
That's right, yes. So as they're trying to collect these body parts, they are chased by a ghostly little girl figure covered in blood who they nicknamed the Red Girl. And she keeps like killing them. she keeps killing them as they're trying to find these body parts, but then they wake up and it's the same day and they have to go back to school and do it all again.
There's a lot of killing in this movie of the same person. I guess, which is a clever device for a film, because you can keep killing the same characters over and over again, and you don't have to worry about like explaining shit. Just like they just dead, and
it's a fun mechanic. Like we've seen it before in things like Edge of Tomorrow. I guess Groundhog Day to an extent. I think he dies a couple of times in that film.
Does he? I haven't seen Groundhog Day, surprisingly.
I can't remember really, but I feel like he gets to a point where he doesn't care and starts dying. I don't know. But it's a thing that's been done before, right? So there's a couple of ideas in this film. There's that death loop kind of situation. Happy Death Day. That's another one.
It's kind of like a death game subgenre movie as well, because it's kind of like they get roped into this.
It's like a scavenger
game
hunt
called Body Search. Except you get fucking brutally murdered, chopped in half, impaled, stuffed in shoe lockers, that thing.
I mean, this kind of reminded me of a video game a bit, like a game where where you need to like the objective is finding these body parts, right? Similar to like the objective in like a Friday the 13th or a Dead by Daylight situation. You got to repair the generators or whatever. But as you're doing so,
you're very Dead by Daylight.
You're stalked by this murderous figure. So you're trying to elude them and work as a team to accomplish the goal. So this film, I guess it's got some spoilers. I guess we'll try to talk non-spoilers first. Before getting into spoiler territory.
This film, I really like this movie a lot, but it's also like not a good movie in a sense as well. So I'm like kind of conflicted, but like my viewing experience of this movie was like fantastic. I was hanging out with the Sunman, and we were at a mate's place, and we had like this really nice Korean barbecue, and we got home, and we got back to my joint pretty early. And I was just in such a good mood. And then, like, because I remember you sent me the trailer for this movie, and this looks like straight up my alley, like guilty pleasure Asian horror. Like, I'm gonna watch it. And we watched it, and like, we just laughed so much through this movie. You know, when you see montages of like high school girls like laughing when they're watching movies and stuff. Movies, like, that was me and Sonny. Like, we had our popcorn.
Just having a grand old time.
We just had so much fun. And like, I could see so many plot holes and plot contrivances, and even like the lead character, Asuka Morisaki, who's played by Kana Hashimoto. She's like, the character is supposed to be like a loner that no one wants to talk to, but the actress herself is like one of Japan's most simped girls like ever. Like she's basically the next Satomi Ishihara, I think.
And they don't even try to make her look like plain in this film. Like they just say that she's a loner, and then we're supposed to accept that she's unpopular. Like my note is like, Asuka, leading girl, unpopular for some reason. Because that's what the movie suggests, that she's unpopular for some reason. Because she missed one day of school or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. She missed one day of school, and people spread rumors. It was like a swim meet, and then like she didn't turn up, and then like people spread rumors. Like, bro, like I
mean, we all know. Like, films have suggested that the bullying culture in Japan, in high school Japan, is, I mean, it's not great.
Yeah.
But this is a bit of a stretch, right?
It's like, But, like, I didn't care. Like, I knew going into this movie that it's like, I'm not really looking for much. Like, I am looking to be entertained. And this is, like, my, like, favorite kind of guilty pleasure entertainment is just, like, average Asian horror with a lot of like jump scares, which this movie didn't really have that much. This movie is not that scary, but like
it's more of like, I wouldn't call it a horror comedy actually, like a horror dramedy.
I don't think it's a comedy. I think it's just you and me laughing at the tropes.
Surely some of the deaths are supposed to be funny. There's one death in particular. It happens to Shota, like the nerdy character, and it's like so like Asuka's hiding behind the shoe cupboard, and then like she sees Shota get raised above like the shoe cabinet and gets slammed against the wall like several times. And I'm pretty sure like they reuse the same ADR like every time he like impacts the wall, because he makes the same grunt like every time he hits the wall. And it's just really funny.
It's just like the flailing around looks funny, and just the cutaway and people going in the distance like getting killed. The funny thing is that scream from the Japanese male in this movie is actually very realistic. I've actually seen, I'm pretty sure I told you this story, but me and a mate were waiting to enter this horror house thing in Odaiba, and like these three Japanese guys, they out of the house thing, they like literally stumble out upon each other, like collapsing on each other, and they're like, kawaii ne, like suge, and they were just like really like they were screaming, and it was really funny. Like it's like, is this anime? Is this real life? Like just watching this play out. So it's actually quite accurate, the screams.
Well, how was your experience in the horror thing with Tony?
With Tony, we were like mildly amused. We fucked up. I'm probably still being haunted. We're probably still being haunted.
You're meant to do a prayer at the end. Is that?
You meant to do a prayer. But we fucked up because I'm like, let's just get through this. And then I was like,
you don't speak the language, so
no, because they told us in English like you got to do this like here, but we fucked up. So So you never know. I might end up in a body search death game myself.
Yeah.
With a lot of with Kana Hashimoto, that'd be nice. That's cool.
And it does seem nice for the most part. Like that's one of the kind of the things that I wasn't expecting from this film is the tone of the film. Tones, plural of the film. So I mean, like they are in this situation. They find themselves in this situation where they're reliving the same day, and they have to go through this horrific thing every night because they keep getting killed every night by this red girl. But at a point, they get used to the idea of respawning, I guess.
Killed.
And like they get used to getting killed. It doesn't seem to bother them as much anymore. And like, so the group of friends, there's they're not friends at the start. So Asuka, as we said, is the super beautiful, unpopular girl. There's Takahiro. So he's the love interest of Asuka.
He's a basketball player.
He's good at basketball, and could have been scouted, but wasn't because he didn't want to. There's Rumiko, who is a somewhat Yankee girl.
Yeah, that's it. She's the Gyaru girl.
She's dating a bartender who's older, obviously. There's Atsushi, who is also an athlete, but he injured himself, and then he became depressed and stopped going to school. There's Shota, who is an annoying nerd. There's Rie, who is the class president. It's a stand-up girl. So that's a group of people that get stuck in this death loop. So they're not friends initially, but at a point they become bonded through this shared experience. And I mean, the tone of some of the scenes where they're bonding is like very lighthearted. It's very like coming of age.
It's very wholesome. It's like these like group of, I guess, supposed loners bonding together over this horrific event, and then I mean, there's the typical anime beach moment, which like me and Sunny, we just cracked up as soon as we saw like the slow-mo shot of them jumping at the beach. We couldn't contain ourselves.
It's so nice. It's like it comes after like maybe 45 minutes of like dread and horror, and then there's like this beach scene where they're just having a good time, and they come across some bullies, and they work together to fend off the bullies. It's great.
It's such a nice scene. It's such a nice.
It kind of reminded me of like Stand By Me, I guess.
A little bit.
Because Stand By Me has that mixture of tones as well, a little bit.
I was gonna say it's a little bit like It as well. Like Stand By Me and It, Stephen King. So there's like this kind of losers club like working together, and that's when you see them working in the montage together. There's like this really like cool J-rock song that's playing over this like montage of them trying to find all the body parts when they've kind of gotten used to the idea of dying. And then when it's like showing like that part and then the death montage, it's just really funny. It's just this really lighthearted moment, but then they're getting like dismembered or they're getting brutally killed. And it's just like they kind of just forget that they're just dying. And they're even having fun in like the world, the other world, the school world.
As they're getting stalked by the red girl, right? They're like having little chit chats in the swimming pool, and like playing pranks on each other, and then they get really murdered.
That's it.
It gets to a point where, like, as an audience member, you as well get lulled into this kind of false sense of security. You're like, I started to think anyway, like, where is the threat here? If they keep respawning, like, what are the consequences for them, like but then there's obviously a point where shit gets real, which we'll probably get to in spoilers, I reckon.
These tonal shifts, because this movie it's not doing very well in the ratings department. Like it's gotten like 5 on IMDb. Do you think this movie is just too weird or too tonally different from like what a normal horror movie person would like?
I mean, it doesn't help, I reckon. Like for me, it does help because it sets it apart from the others of its ilk, right? But I think for a general horror audience, it's a little bit confusing, maybe a little bit. I don't even know if it's too weird. It's just too different, maybe. Or
too Japanese, maybe.
Too light. I don't know.
Too light, because it's this movie's quite light. Like, there's a lot of horror tropes within the monster itself. Like at the start, it's like kind of typical long-haired girl. There's a lot of like contortioning of the body, but like it's not particularly scary because of these light moments. But I think as someone who enjoys like characters, I kind of liked that. I liked the characters in this movie. Like none of them are particularly deep. But I think like the trope is usually in Western horror. Let's say, for example, even what's that movie with Nick Cage and the teddy bears and the animatronics? Willy's Wonderland. So a lot of those like teenagers in that movie, like they get killed, but they're very unlikable. But like what's different in this movie is that like all the characters are like quite likable enough, so you want them to succeed. And even if you are seeing them die, like you know they're going to come back until there is a point where you're worried about them. And I think I like that in a horror movie that there's more tension when you actually like the people that are getting killed.
Right.
Yeah. So the lightheartedness, like kind of building on that like likability of the characters a bit more.
Yeah.
Because well, it is based off a manga, so that's why it's got a very kind of like anime feel to it.
I think it's like that's one thing, I guess. But like horror audiences are pretty used to watching weird and different stuff as well at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's only this factor that explains its low rating. I think there's also kind of a cheap quality to it at times. That's like
some like janky CGI.
Yeah, and like the acting as well. It's a bit schlocky. And like
it's very cheesy. It's very camp.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and like that on top of like some of the plot holes that kind of like come up. Yeah, maybe that's why it's not widely highly regarded. And like you said, it's not a great film. It's probably a bad film actually. But it's entertaining to us. Maybe specifically to us and people like that like this kind of film. Maybe it's a bit too niche. I think that's the problem with this film.
This movie has a lot of the issues that horror movies in general happen. It's like, especially towards the end, like, just get the fucking task done, you know, like stop fucking like
stop fucking around,
stop fucking around. And just like how some aspects of the game they just figure it out just cause like the movie needs to move forward. But I think like I can forgive the movie. I guess it's because I don't watch... Like, I watch a lot of these movies, but not, like, all the time. So, like, as, like I say, I'm always into, like, my very introspective, like, movies. But, like, I balance it out with stuff like this as well. Like, you know, it's just like, it's like... I'm pretty sure you would never be a loner in any alternate multiverse, but that's all right. It's fine. This is an enjoyable movie.
Movie says you're a loner, so I can roll with it.
The movie says you're a loner. You skipped swim school. You skipped swim. I skipped one of the swimming days in my school.
Oh, well.
No one gave a shit.
That explains your unpopularity, Tubby, throughout high school. I mean, like this film's not for everyone, for sure. Even horror fans, I think, maybe will probably be divided on this film. I think J-horror fans will probably like it though, you know, because there's a lot of like, there's enough of the J-horror tropes, kind of like an homage to J-horror tropes. I think that, to satisfy J-horror audiences, and J-horror often has like a pretty comedic or light tone, probably not in the good stuff or the people that consider you know to be good, but like some of the more camp stuff, I think, and that kind of subgenre in itself has a pretty wide audience. So
there's a really funny moment in this movie where it's like it kind of comes near the end, and there's like this kind of quick montage of like everyone like being on their own, because I think like Asuka's having a spiel about like losing her friends or something, and then it's like you see Asuka being like slow mode, like when it goes to flashback, it's like that kind of more monochromatic look, and it's like slow motion of like each person being sad. It's like I think like Rumiko, the bar, she's sitting at the bar by herself because she feels a bit ostracized from her peers for being like that kind of gyaru girl. Takehiro's like kind of feeling lonely. I've got his shot, but there's one character, she's probably like the weakest of the bunch. This is Rie. She's just like beautiful president girl. Like, there's a moment of her looking sad because her friends are eating these parfaits, but she's not. And it just kind of looks like, oh, I'm really like my trauma comes from me not eating a parfait.
That looks really good. Actually, I could use a parfait.
Just like really funny. Like when I was rewatching it, because like I can't remember the other guys, but I think like their shots did coincide with that feeling, especially Shota. Like, I think he's being bullied or something, but then it's just she's the last one. It's like, oh yeah, really want a parfait, but didn't get one or something. And it just looked pretty funny. Yeah, just like the editor couldn't find a shot, or they didn't shoot it. Just like, oh yeah.
I mean, that's her character, right? It's just she's pretty much perfect. She's got a great life. I can't even think of I don't think the movie spends that much time fleshing these characters out too much. Like they're pretty much like pretty just kind of generic staples of characters. It's like the loner, the nerd, couple of jocks chucked in there. So I don't think that's what this movie is really about. It's more about like the bond of friendship that is formed in this dire situation. And obviously the overarching narrative of the game situation that they're trying to beat. Yeah, I don't know, like whether or not that works in and of itself is debatable. But I found this movie pretty entertaining.
It's just like you don't read too much into it. Like, I mean, loneliness as a theme is just like the Japanese trope. I mean, you compare this movie to Call Me Chihiro, which is also about like loneliness. This is the action horror comedy version of that theme. Whereas like, it's just like you kind of just go along with the ride.
It's just a bit of fun.
And I guess if I can kind of see if like. I can see why people would give this a bad rating. Like, it probably is a 5, but I kind of like don't mind a lot of the flaws in this movie. Like, I personally don't think this is a 5, but like it's just I think
if there are any flaws that I would fixate on, it would be the overusage of CGI. I reckon, because like there are some practical effects in this film, and they're quite like they don't look the best, but they have a charm to them. And like a lot of that charm is lost when you've got like CGI decapitations going on.
I do like they're not the decapitations, but like the sliced in half deaths. I find them really funny. There's a bit where like the jankiness of it, like they're in the gymnasium and something gets knocked over, the glass panel like slices Shota in half.
The two halves fall like in different places in slow motion. It does look pretty funny.
It looks funny because it looks fake, but even the second time watching this movie, I laughed at every single death in this movie because
do you think it was violent enough though? Because I found that a lot of the deaths kind of happen off screen. And like maybe there's a bit of cutaway as well here and there that I felt maybe a bit shortchanged in terms of deaths, especially in a movie where it's like a death loop,
Actually, this is funny, like me coming from the gore hounds, I didn't have too much of an issue with that, whether it's budgetary restraints or even the tone of the movie, because I think with the lighter parts of this movie, I have a feeling they didn't want to make it like too gruesome, because I feel like this could be a movie where it's quite accessible for non-horror fans to come watch it, because I don't think this movie is particularly violent. Then again, this is me and you, Dan,
there's one,
and we're talking about people getting sliced in half.
There's one death that was probably I found the most like ooh kind of thing. It's like when the red girl punches like her fist through Asuka's mouth.
Face,
and like I think that was meant to be impactful. That was meant to be like kind of like a marquee death, maybe. But the rest of them is kind of like just kind of screaming off camera. And then they stumble onto camera with like a hole in them or whatever.
I like this scream.
It's fun.
I thought that
it's
was
fun,
really funny. Because in the distance. Like, it's just like
just a distant
mind.
Scream. A lot of it is kind of like aside from when the red girl punches a hole through Asuka, you don't really know like how she's killing the rest of them. They kind of like get dragged away, and then there's like
mauled.
You don't really get a sense of what the red girl is doing specifically. So it's kind of hard even to try to create a picture in your mind. Like,
well, I feel like that's maybe a little bit Japanese censorship as well. Like, it can't be too realistic. Well, there was one other death that was in the death montage where one of the girls has her different body parts like shoved into each of the lockers. I was like, for me that was a bit like, ooh, damn, it's a bad way to go.
Yeah, sure. But again, that's kind of like it happens off camera and you just get to see the aftermath. I feel like maybe in the first act we could have done with a bit more gruesome and then kind of tone it down after that,
horror,
because like you don't. Yeah, you don't want to see a whole movie of that, right? But you do want to, I just felt a little bit shortchanged, I think.
Oh, that's interesting. The shoe's on the other foot on this one. Like, you're the one complaining about lack of violence. I didn't really even think about it that much while watching this movie, because I think it was like, I really like the premise of this movie, but like, I know it was going to be like a silly movie. So my expectations were turned pretty much like down, like pretty far down, to be honest, even though I saw the trailer and like, yep, we're going to talk about this movie because like I felt like talking about like a bad Asian horror, but like, I actually found myself really like enjoying just the ride. Like there's a lot of stuff that probably doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, do we want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, should we do spoilers? Before we do, I think this movie is worth a watch if you like this particular brand of horror. Specifically J-horror, I reckon, if you're a fan of J-horror in all its forms, so not just the quote-unquote good stuff, but also the schlocky stuff. I think you'll quite like this film. But definitely not for everybody. Spoilers,
I agree with that.
Right?
So, well, there's obviously like, it's implied that there are survivors of this body search game. And I think there's an expanded universe in the manga. So, like,
you're talking about the librarian character?
Yeah, the librarian guy. So, like, he obviously talks about, like, I used to have, like, these high school friends, but, like, I forgot about them. Like, he felt like it. But at the end of the movie, when they survive, it's like, I don't quite get how they kind of know each other again, because eventually, like, they do find all the body parts.
Yes.
And Asuka's like the sole survivor after the Home Alone-esque plan. Catching the monster. Yeah. Which was actually a really fun scene.
I like that effect as well. The Emily red girl merge. So the red girl eventually merges with her doll, which is called Emily, and becomes like this big, like kind of like. It kind of reminded me of the big gingerbread man from Shrek.
I guess it's
but like with a predator mouth. And he was like going around terrorizing them, and like they find out that if they get eaten by this monster, their existence is actually erased from the real world. So even though they are repeating the same day, the threat becomes apparent that they may be erased from existence. So that's where like that's the shit that gets real moment of the film.
The stakes are back up again because you can actually die in the game now. You can't just be like, oh well, I guess I
don't know exactly why that happened. I think like they went to the house and then they discovered the Emily doll, and then that triggered something, but they keep it pretty vague. I don't think it's that important why it happens.
I don't mind like the film being vague. Like that's just, that's gonna happen with these kind of movies, and sometimes the mysteriousness of it like helps, but like at the end like Takahiro and Asuka have like they have like a romantic moment on top of the roofs in Japan, which aka like fuck, every time I think about rooftop scenes in stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, they're on a rooftop. And then I remember we're in Australia, where there's like the rooftops are probably not that nice looking.
Also very hard to access. You gotta get a
very hard to access. Yeah. Like, what are you fucking kids doing? What are you kids doing up there? Get out of there!
Get out of there! Yeah, this is for maintenance staff only.
Get out of there, you dog. But it's just as a side note.
Get the fucking camera out of my face. Get the camera out of my face.
Like the cinematography in this movie is actually not bad either. Surprisingly good at some points.
Again, I think it's Japan being good looking.
Yeah, it's just like Japan. It's like it's photo easy mode. But yeah, he gives her like this brooch thing. Yeah, he's like, when the game's over, like I'll remember you. But then it's like, at the end, like, they finish the game, and it's, like, the next day, and everyone's forgotten each other, but then, like, he sees Asuka drop the brooch, and he's like, I found you. So does it mean that, like, each one of the characters has this memory of the game, but is it, like, do they just not remember each other, or do they just don't remember the people in the game?
No.
But then, like, he sees it, yeah. Like, I don't know. Like,
I think the implication is they don't remember anything about the game and the Deathloop situation until, what's his name? Takahiro touches that brooch and his memory triggers Asuka's memory, which presumably triggers everyone else's memory.
Yeah, and they just like, oh, I guess I remember.
Yeah, it's the power of friendship, Tavi. It's the power of friendship and love and whatever.
That's it.
Yeah, the librarian didn't have that level of friendship, I guess, with his crew, so he forgot about them. But I mean, like, you don't know really. Like, maybe they developed an organic relationship after the fact because like they got forced into this kind of after school club together. At the end of the movie, so maybe they didn't remember. Maybe they just became friends naturally.
Yeah, kind of like an Alice in Borderland style.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's fake.
Maybe, yeah. But it's kind of like I have to say, like, you know, it's funny because Kana Hashimoto is a very pretty person, right? But like when like the guy says like Mitsketa, like I found you, and then the camera is like a close up of her face, like smiling. It's kind of creepy.
That's the last shot of the film.
I'm kind of like this is supposed to be like a very sweet moment, but I don't know. I was kind of like, you're a really like attractive girl, but you're kind of scaring me a little bit. And I don't think that was the intention.
It's a shame. Yeah, I did not see that at all time. That's the Kimi no Nawa moment for her. And she fucked it up with a creepy face.
Yeah, she had a creepy smile. Like, are you like trying to suggest like something? Because it's like,
is it because she's looking at the camera though? Is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because she's like, I've never seen any cinematographer make her look like that. Like I used to read Asian Junkie a while back. They like write a lot of like kind of stuff about K-pop, but it's a bit more like, I don't know, norm, like kind of like us, I guess. They're a bit more crude about it. But like that's when I first found out about this girl, and this one dude who was a writer for it. I think he just kept posting stuff about Kana Hashimoto, and that's how I kind of knew about her. And then like, I just see like stuff on YouTube, and she's like pretty much effortlessly pretty. Like she's the face of a lot of brands.
Right.
It's like she was the kind of person like if you fell and then you took a photo, like she'd look good at it.
She's got that kind of like demure natural beauty that that is popular in Japan. Like you mentioned, what's her name?
Satomi Ishihara.
Satomi Ishihara.
So like I'm watching this. This is like the first time I've seen some like sort of make her look scary. Like even scarier than when she had the hole punched into her mouth. And I was like, oh yeah, I just felt very mixed about that final shot. Like it was, I don't know. I thought I'd just bring that up. But
I didn't notice.
Actually, you didn't know? Yeah, you watch it again. She has a really creepy smile, where it's like it's not supposed to be creepy, but it just looks creepy because it's like, I think it might be because she's looking at the camera and she's like a little bit, and there's like no sound as well. They cut the sound, I think, and it's just this smile. I'm like, am I like watching the sequel to Smile or something? Like it kind of looks like that. It kind of looks like a smile from the
just an unnatural smile. Maybe that's just poor acting.
Probably just poor acting.
But it's not the last shot of the film because there is a little bit of sequel bait at the end.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that because I know how you don't watch credits.
No,
so.
I did. I actually started. Well, I skipped the credits to the end because there's like photos and maybe outtakes or something during the credits.
No, I think it's just photos. Yeah.
And then, but the last scene is like in the well. There's a newspaper article, and the article morphs from the current victim that this movie is based around to a new victim, presumably opening up the floor to a extended Remember universe.
So you didn't find out who that victim was, the new victim?
I don't think so. I think it's just a random victim.
No, it's Asuka. It says Asuka Morisaki.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah. So,
but like, as a little girl.
Yeah, as a little girl. Huh. So the victim changes from the previous victim, and then it changes to Asuka Morisaki at age 8.
Huh.
And instead of being dismembered at a house, it's like in a park or something. So it's implied that there is going to be another body search. I read some speculation that it's like basically the being, once it's like, it's a game, right? So once one game's over, it starts a new game, and it'll just travel back in time and kill Asuka as a kid then.
Okay.
Whether this current Asuka's existence will be erased or will continue the course of time, I don't know. But yeah, like I think it's kind of like in Battle Royale, how some members come back to the game, the Battle Royale game. I think in the manga, when there's like other body search games and people come back. I mean, at the start of the movie, like it shows that the body search game started in like Russia or something, and it kind of made its way to Japan. So there's definitely been like
it's a continuous stream of games. Yeah. But this, like the fact that it is Asuka as an 8-year-old, opens the floor up to like time dilation and paradoxes and stuff, which is confusing.
I mean, that's all time shit. Like, all time shit is confusing.
Yeah, but so they didn't need to add that element, I feel. Like, because I thought it was just another girl. It moves on to the next murder victim. Like, who is murdering these people? Is it like an otherworldly entity? I thought it was maybe like just a serial killer that's been disposing of body parts, and like the game is kind of just... Like, I didn't think the game itself was responsible for the deaths.
Like, I don't know for sure, but I think it is probably implying that it's like an otherworldly entity, kind of like It styles, where it's just like it can kind of bend rules of reality. Yeah. And obviously, I guess in this case, time.
Like, a lot of the lore is a bit like vague. Like, you don't even know who the red girl is, really. Like, is that...
Yeah, who was originally killed.
Is the red girl supposed to be the murder victim?
The previous winner? Yeah. What I think is the previous girl is... Well, what the movie is implying is that the winner becomes the new victim, right? Okay. So whoever won the body search last time was that little girl. So, but now when Asuka won, it's changed to her.
So Asuka's going to become the red girl, or she's going to become...
Yeah, Asuka will be the red girl in this case. Okay. Yeah. But I don't know how, like, what if, like... Because she's the sole survivor in the last-ditch effort to kill the monster. But, like, what if other people survived? Would there be more than one monster or something? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
And what's happening with the librarian as well? Like, he survived, right? Like, where's his time dilation?
Yeah. It'd be interesting, because I would like to see a sequel to this film. They're probably not going to make one.
They're not going to make a sequel to this.
They're not going to make one. If they're not making a sequel to Sandman...
You never know with Netflix. They might randomly choose to do a sequel.
Come on, Netflix. If we're going to start giving you money, Netflix, I want to see a fucking sequel to Remember, all right?
Or they might make a Hollywood remake, Tavi. You never know. Speaking of, who in a Hollywood remake, who would you cast as these characters? It's a lot of high school people that we don't really know any young actors.
I mean, I just put like Jenna Ortega as Asuka, because that's the only person I can think of. I think it's gonna be Jenna Ortega every time.
Jenna Ortega plus the cast of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Get them involved.
Get them, yeah.
Done dizzle. To direct, I don't know who's a decent horror director.
Actually, you know what? To make it good, I'd probably even get the guy who did the Black Phone. Is it Scott?
Scott Derrickson.
Scott Derrickson. Yeah. I reckon he can. I reckon he might be able to make like a highbrow version of this
horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's got the vision for it. Yeah. So this could actually be like a decent American remake, maybe. Like, if they kind of. Because they're not going to be able to do the lighthearted stuff. Like, it just wouldn't work.
Nah, they
in
could.
a Western sense.
I reckon they could. They did it in It. I reckon they can get away with it here. Like a version of the lighthearted stuff.
Yeah. I guess you could get that director to do it as well. I forgot his name. Like Kerry Georgie Fukunaga? Wasn't he the director? No, it was a different guy. That was a True Detective guy. Who did direct It Chapter 1?
It is...
and Andrea Muschietti.
Andrea Muschietti. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he could probably do it as well. I guess because he just did It, so maybe, yeah.
Oh, just get James Wan as well. Like, James Wan would be fine. He's competent.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen Aquaman yet.
Actually, no, he did do Malignant, which is pretty camp in itself.
Yeah.
So he could probably do something like this.
That's his wheelhouse, I reckon, is...
Yeah.
Horror that doesn't take itself too seriously, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. Maybe James Wan. Yeah. That'd be fun to see.
James Wan and the cast of Stranger Things. And Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. Anytime we review a movie and it's a teenage girl, it's just Jenna Ortega.
I would love...
Who are the actresses of this generation aside from Jenna Ortega?
Oh, there's a lot. There's that what's her name? Daisy Edgar Jones?
I don't know who that is.
She's from Fresh and 50 Shades of Grey, I think. Where the Crawdads sing. That. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's Sydney Sweeney. She's the Thing.
I don't know who that is. Okay. You just, to me, like, these are probably actual actors, but to me, it just sounds like names.
Just names, yeah. You need to watch more young people, Tavi. You need to watch
more young white people movies. Huh? Yeah. But the segment's not working because I literally don't know that many young
But I would love to see some like practical effects as well. Like if you get Stan Winston and his crew to do the effect for the Emily doll or the Emily/Red Girl doll, I think that would be pretty cool. With James Wan at the helm, like I'm pretty sure he's into like the more practical aspects of filmmaking. I think this could work as a Hollywood remake. Yeah.
It would never see the light of day because people don't like this movie enough for them to,
You never know. Maybe later down the line.
I think I'm less critical on this being a Hollywood remake is because like this movie itself is not a good movie, but it's just like it's just a fun movie.
So you don't think Hollywood could make it worse?
Actually, that's a good point. I think Hollywood could make it worse by making unlikable characters.
Yeah, by misunderstanding the point of this film.
Yeah, I think, if they make their characters, like, unlikable to a certain degree that, like, obviously these days, like, you probably know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're saying. If they make if they cast a bunch of Jade Weskers in this film.
If they cast a bunch of Jade Weskers, then no, I don't want anything to do with it. But if they actually, like, make like characters, that are like basically not rude for a change, then maybe it might be all right. It might be a little bit of fun.
Yeah, let's get the Stranger Things kids. You're likable enough.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's us for this film, right, Tavi?
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, not a very deep film. Can't talk about the layers of society in this movie, just except maybe if you're missing out on a parfait. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of it in the high school dynamics. There's a bit of bullying going on and a bit of like social outcasting. Yeah, maybe it is possible for a beautiful girl like Asuka to become an outcast just because she missed a swim meet. Like, maybe that's the depth of bullying in Japan. Maybe it's indiscriminatory. Who knows? If you know, let us know in the comments. Okay? If you go to high school in Japan, let us know what the dynamic is. I'd be interested to find out a real take on it. You can get in touch with us at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us on Instagram at twoasianblokes to see what we're up to.
Yeah, I'm going to go get a parfait because I'm feeling a bit sad. Feeling a bit lonely because I didn't get a parfait yesterday.
For this episode.
Let's get to the parfait. Hey, man, you know how far I go for a joke. Remember in Japan when we were looking for milkshakes because I kept quoting there will be blood?
I remember that. It was summer, Tavi. We walked around for ages looking for milkshakes.
It was a damn good milkshake, and you had to order one so I could drink it from you, and then I can say I drink your milkshake. Yeah. So now I'm gonna. I mean, where the hell am I gonna try to get a parfait around my?
Where do you even get a parfait in Australia? Like, is it even a thing in Australia?
I mean, I could go to Epping and get a custard from.
I guess that's pretty close to a parfait.
No, I want to get a parfait though.
I think you'd have to make it yourself. I think you're gonna have to buy some ice cream and cereal and berries and whatnot and make your own parfait and a cup to put it in.
And a cup, and get one of those like creme brulee custard things that are pretty.
And then you stare at it longingly while I eat it.
While you eat it, you and your partner can eat it together, and I can stare at it longingly.
Just make a really big deal about how delicious it is while you watch us eat it.
Seriously, watch that scene again. It's really funny.
I'll watch that scene and I'll watch the last shot with Asuka and see if I can agree with you on this.
It's creepy, man.
On this deep cut that you presented.
She very beautiful girl, but she can do a creepy smile. Probably unintentionally creepy smile. Yeah. But just watch it, So if anything, this movie has parfaits and hot creepy girl smile. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. And if you're part of a death loop situation, enjoy it while it lasts. I reckon it seems like a pretty good deal.
True. Actually, like, to be honest, their lives improve because of the body search.
You just get like better and better at living that day, like over and over again. Yeah. Like in every movie, there's a point where like the main character just becomes like really good at living the same day, but then they get over it. So I guess you want to get it done.
I guess that's it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Bye. See ya. Bye.